ऐसा शहर जहां पर इतनी गर्मी पड़ रही है जो हम लोगों ने कभी सोचा नहीं था, विच इज बैंगलोर राइट नाउ। बट एक ऐसा शहर दिल्ली जो अपनी समर के लिए मशहूर है, वहां पर चल रही है बारिश, जिसके चलते फिलहाल टॉस अपडेट नहीं आ पाया है हमारे पास, बिकॉज डिले हो गया है टॉस। और दिल्ली और केकेआर की टीम को भी थोड़ा इंतजार करना होगा। बट एक अच्छी बात यह है कि यहाँ जो पहला मुकाबला चल रहा था रॉयल चैलेंजर्स बैंगलोर और पंजाब किंग्स का, वो खत्म हो गया है। और रॉयल चैलेंजर्स बैंगलोर ने 2 पॉइंट्स ऐड किए हैं बाय विनिंग इट बाय 24 रन्स। दैट्स अ गुड मैच टू विन, एंड डेफिनेटली आज के मुकाबले में प्लेयर्स लाइक विराट कोहली और फैफ डू प्लेसी दोनों ने ही काफी सारे रन्स एड अप किए। बहुत सारे हैं इस मैच के बारे में बात करने को लेकर के। एक तरफ जब रॉयल चैलेंजर्स बैंगलोर बैटिंग पर उतरे, टॉस हारने के बाद उन्होंने 174 रन्स ऐड किए अपने स्कोरबोर्ड पे, जहां पर फैफ डू प्लेसी और विराट कोहली, आइडली इनका ही स्कोर देखने वाला है बैंगलोर की बैटिंग में, बिकॉज उसके बाद मिडिल ऑर्डर ने कुछ खास किया नहीं। सो कुछ 143 रन इन्होंने खुद एड अप किए, जिसमें 84 फैफ डू प्लेसी और 59 विराट कोहली के नाम पर है। वहीं उसके अलावा सामने से पंजाब के एंड से बात करें तो हरप्रीत ब्रार ने 2 विकेट और अर्शदीप सिंह ने 1 विकेट लिया। आफ्टरवर्ड्स पंजाब किंग्स चेस करने उतरे, बट दे कुडंट डू इट, दो ही उनका होम ग्राउंड था। बट स्टिल प्रभ सिमरन ने ऐड किए 46 रन, जितेश शर्मा 41 रन, सिराज ने 4 विकेट लिए, हसरंगा 2 विकेट और बैंगलोर 24 रन से जीत गई। प्रत्या, आई स्टार्ट ऑफ विद यू इन दिस पर्टिकुलर मैच, रॉयल चैलेंजर्स बैंगलोर एंड पंजाब किंग। ये होम ग्राउंड था पंजाब का, और हमने देखा है लास्ट मैच में भी उन्होंने जिस तरीके से मैच जीता था सैम करन की कैप्टेंसी में, आज ऐसा कुछ कर नहीं पाए, चेस प्रॉपर चल नहीं पाया। जो जितेश शर्मा ने भी काफी सारे रन्स एड अप किए, बट अल्टीमेटली अगर मैं 2 बैटर्स की बात करूं तो हमने जितेश को और प्रभ सिमरन को जिम्मेदारी उठाते हुए देखा। बाकी बैटर्स कुछ खास एड अप कर नहीं पाए पंजाब के लिए इस मुकाबले में।
बिल्कुल, आई थिंक दे वुड बी डिसअपॉइंटेड, क्योंकि स्कोर बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा नहीं था। और खासतौर पे अगर आप जहन में रखें जिस तरीके का स्टार्ट मिला था आरसीबी को, द काइंड ऑफ पार्टनरशिप दैट विराट कोहली एंड फैफ डू प्लेसी बिल्ट, उसके बाद 200 बिल्कुल एक गिवन लगने लगा था शायद अगर आप 10th 11th ओवर के मार्क पे देखें। बट अराउंड 10th ओवर मार्क आरसीबी वन 91 फॉर नो लॉस। जब आपके पास में इतनी बैटिंग स्ट्रेंथ आनी बची होती है, आगे ग्लेन मैक्सवेल, दिनेश कार्तिक जैसे हिटर्स हैं, और जिस तरीके के फॉर्म में खुद कोहली और मैक्सवेल भी, कोहली और फैफ डू प्लेसी खुद थे, तो ये लग रहा था एक बार इजीली कि शायद हो सकता है 200 प्लस का टारगेट बहुत इजीली वो सेट कर पाए। बट वो एक स्लो डाउन जो पावर प्ले के बाद हुआ, और उसके बाद बीच में 3-4 ओवर्स आए जहाँ पे अच्छी तरीके से कंटेन किया, एक भी बाउंड्री नहीं लगा पाए आरसीबी के बैटर्स, और गलत समय पे जो उसके बाद लगातार विकेट्स गिरे, 2 बॉल पे लगातार कोहली आउट हुए, उसके बाद मैक्सवेल आउट हुए, वहां से मेरे ख्याल से थोड़ी सी उनकी इनिंग्स डगमगा गई। और 170 ऑड का टोटल इतना ज्यादा बड़ा नहीं था, विच आई फेल्ट एट द हाफ वे मार्क दैट इट शुड हैव बीन चेस्ड डाउन फॉर 2 सिंपल रीजंस, दैट पंजाब हैव बैटिंग स्ट्रेंथ एंड दे आर वन ऑफ द टीम्स जिनको हमने देखा है कि उन्होंने वो इंग्लैंड जैसा टेम्पलेट पिछले आईपीएल से अडॉप्ट करके रखा है, दैट दे कीप ऑन गोइंग हार्ड आफ्टर द स्कोर्स। देयर इज अ डाउन साइड टू दैट कि कभी कभार उसमें कोलैप्स हो जाते हैं, जो कि आज भी हमने देखा, क्योंकि एक पैनिक स्ट्रिकन स्टेट था, कपल ऑफ रनआउट्स देयर, सिराज स्टार्टेड ब्यूटीफुली विद द न्यू बॉल इन द पावर प्ले, तो वो बैकफुट पे रहते रहते अल्टीमेटली दे फेल शॉर्ट। बट इफ यू लुक एट द गेम, परहैप्स यू विल फील दैट यस, आरसीबी वन इट कन्विंसिंगली, like 24 runs is a decent amount of margin, but the match had its own ebbs and flows, and it wasn't like that Punjab was completely down and out, but they would be really disappointed because it was a home game firstly, and secondly that the target wasn't really that big and they contained things really well, but to lose it from that kind of a situation, so of course they would be disappointed because these were 2 points for them to take.
राइट और ये इतना डिफिकल्ट लग नहीं रहा था पंजाब के लिए जितना एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दिखाई पड़ा। बट कौस्तव, आई लाइक टू आस्क यू दिस, सिंस आरसीबी के एंड से भी अगर बात करें तो 2 बैटर लाइक फैफ डू प्लेसी एंड विराट कोहली, दे डिड एवरीथिंग फॉर आरसीबी टुडे, बट मिडिल ऑर्डर जैसे कोलैप्स हो रहा था, लग रहा था जैसे कि पूरा का पूरा जो बैटिंग लाइनअप है वो रिलाई करता है विराट और फैफ पे, व्हिच मींस कि अगर आपने इन दोनों को डिकोड कर लिया, देन यू हैव डिकोडेड आरसीबी's बैटिंग। यू कैन रियली कहीं पर भी आप उनको चोट पहुंचा सकते हो, छोटे से स्कोर में उन्हें खत्म कर सकते हो, अगर आपको पता है कि आपको फैफ को और विराट को कैसे आउट करना है। सो ये भी आरसीबी के लिए काफी कंसर्निंग साइन होगा आज के इस मुकाबले के बाद। इवन हम पूरे सीजन में अगर देखें तो हेवीली रिलाई की है आरसीबी की बैटिंग ऑन विराट, फैफ एंड ग्लेन मैक्सवेल एट पॉइंट्स।
Sir, this is not just about this season. I think अपने पूरे हिस्ट्री में आरसीबी अपने टॉप 3 टॉप 4 के ऊपर ही पूरा डिपेंडेंट होते हैं। 5-6 के बैटिंग के ऊपर हमने बहुत बात की है कि शायद आरसीबी, एक बड़ा रीजन ये भी है कि कभी ट्रॉफी नहीं जीता है क्योंकि उन लोगों का 5-6-7 में उतना अच्छा बैटर का अभी रहा नहीं था। लास्ट सीजन वी सॉ दिनेश कार्तिक चिपिंग इन रियली वेल, बट दिस सीजन ही इज नॉट ऑन फॉर्म. Maxwell is not scoring runs on a consistent basis, so there are plenty of problems that the team management needs to address, especially with the debate going on between Anuj Rawat and Prabsimran Desai, who should sorry, not Prabsimran Desai, yeah, so whoever is
Prabsimran Singh.
Prabsimran, no, that's Suyash Prabhudesai, sorry. So this debate is going. Prabsimran plays for Punjab anyway. So this debate is also going on, and who should not But yeah, the team heavily depends on Virat Kohli and Fab du Plessis, and we saw Fab du Plessis not even 100% fit, and he's still scoring 84 odd runs. Um, Virat Kohli is in brilliant form at the moment. But yes, the question is probably very right that what next if by any chance Virat Kohli and Fab du Plessis fails to perform, then what next for RCB? Right now, I don't see any answer because the players need to step up. Especially players like Dinesh Karthik, who doesn't play a lot of cricket at the moment in domestic cricket. Still, he's part of the setup and he's a big name. You expect him to score a lot of runs, but that is not happening at the moment. So Dinesh Karthik needs to take responsibility, given that he has a lot of experience in this format.
राइट इवन लास्ट मैच में भी दिनेश कार्तिक ने रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेने की कोशिश की बट ही कुडंट डू वंडर्स फॉर द टीम बट अभी देखते हैं एक बार टॉप परफॉर्मर्स ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर मैच जिस तरीके से आरसीबी और पंजाब का मैच रहा है फर्स्ट इनिंग्स की अगर बात करेंगे तो फैफ डु प्लेसी ही स्कोर्ड 84 रन्स एंड देन हरप्रीत ब्रार इन्होंने 2 विकेट लिए और काफी इंप्रेस किया फर्स्ट इनिंग्स में पंजाब के एंड से वहीं अगर सेकंड इनिंग्स की बात करेंगे तो वहां पर भी टॉप परफॉर्मर्स है जिन्होंने काफी कमाल की परफॉर्मेंसेस दी प्रभसिमरन ने जहां 46 रन बनाए 50 से मिस आउट करके तो वहीं दूसरी तरफ मोहम्मद सिराज ने 4 विकेट लिए एक तो आज के मैच में मैंने फैफ डु प्लेसी को पहले लिया था अपना मैन ऑफ द मैच का कंटेंडर लेकिन उसके बाद में मुझे पता चला कि ही माइट नॉट प्ले बिकॉज विराट कोहली टॉस के लिए आए फिर मैंने उनका नाम हटाकर मैंने दूसरे का नाम डाल दिया देन मुझे पता चला कि नो फैफ इज एक्चुअली प्लेइंग सो आई वुड लाइक टू जस्ट आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन टू यू प्रत्यय I just want to know like अगर कोई इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर आता है दो फैफ आज प्लेइंग 11 का पार्ट थे बट अगर कोई इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर आता है और वो लिटरली इम्पैक्ट डालता है मैच में कि वो प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच कंटेंडर बन जाए तो क्या उसको कंसिडर करेंगे एज प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच क्या वो उस कंटेंशन में आता है या इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर होने के बाद आपको शायद इस कंटेंशन में डाले बिकॉज आपने पूरा मैच नहीं खेला
नहीं बिल्कुल देखिए इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर का काम ही है कि आपको एक स्पेसिफिक रोल के लिए लाया जाएगा टीम में और अगर आप उसमें इतना परफॉर्म करते हैं तो कोई भी रोल मेरे ख्याल से एज फार एज माई नॉलेज गोज ऐसा नहीं है जो कि इम्पैक्ट प्लेयर को आप मैन ऑफ द मैच या प्लेयर ऑफ द मैच नहीं दे सकते और आई थिंक आज अगर आप कंट्रीब्यूशन उठा करके देखें आरसीबी के बैटिंग लाइनअप में तो सबसे ज़्यादा कोहली के बाद कोहली से भी ज़्यादा बल्कि इनफैक्ट फाफ डू प्लेसी का ही रहा है और ये पूरी उनकी थीम रही है इस पूरे साल में बिकॉज ही इज़ नॉट वन ऑफ दोज प्लेयर्स जिनको कि हम बहुत बड़ा हिटर मानते हैं बट ही इज लीडिंग द चार्ट्स एज फार एज हिटिंग द सिक्सेस इज कंसर्न्ड and he has been a very consistent batter not just in this year throughout the year when he was playing with the Chennai Super Kings missed the orange cap I think in 2021 by just 2 runs to his own teammate Ruturaj Gaikwad now he is doing wonders with the RCB playing the captain's role to perfection as well so I think that impact player making the impact and making all the right noises as far as du Plessis is concerned so I think he might as well end up being the player of the match and touching upon what Costa was also highlighting that this has actually been a very fair point by him that this has been the story of RCB. I mean, if you look at any of the seasons that they have played, see, IPL is one of those tournaments where you can perhaps win 2-3 games on the basis of individual brilliance, but you cannot really lift an entire trophy winning 14-15 games on relying on a couple of players or 3 or 4 players. So I think the biggest thing that they have gone on to miss in all these years is that they have been about star players. You know, there was a time when Tilak Ratne Dilshan was there, Chris Gayle was there, AB de Villiers was there. Now you have Virat Kohli, Faf du Plessis, Glenn Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik. There have been some good bowlers as well. But the point is that if you have to win tournaments, you perhaps have to click in unison and you have to continuously do that. Last year, I remember when Gujarat Titans, after their auction, a lot of people had written them off because they were perhaps not looking as strong on paper. But then you saw that what Tewatia did, what David Miller did, what Rashid Khan did, what Shubman Gill did. So I think all those players, despite not having that kind of a grand aura that perhaps most of the RCB players possess, they still managed to click in unison and they went on to win the trophy. I think if you have to win a trophy, if you have to win something which is as competitive as the IPL, you cannot be relying upon 2 or 3 players for the entire tournament. They can win you a couple of games. Perhaps what we are also noticing with KKR, Rinku Singh comes and strikes 5 sixes, wins them a game. Shardul Thakur whacks away RCB, wins them a game. But then who are you relying upon? I mean, these are just a couple of players who have shown for you. But there's no real power in your entire unit. So you're not coming good as an 11 of, a set of 11. That is where I think RCB has missed the trick all through these years. And that is looking like the story this year as well. But I think from this game, the biggest takeaway for them would be that the manner in which they defended, because RCB, we know that, death bowling has been their biggest bugbear. And I think even in this game, Jitesh Sharma, the manner he was batting towards the end, you might just have thought for one moment that हो सकता है कि वो शायद उससे game बना लें. But credit to Mohammad Siraj for the manner he bowled. Even other death bowling, I think all in all from this game, they would be pretty satisfied. But overall, I think they will have to definitely look for other players to step up as well, because you cannot imagine yourself winning the IPL trophy just on the back of Kohli and Duplessis and Glenn Maxwell.
डेफिनेटली। और कौस्तभ, मैं ये भी जानना चाहूंगी, सिंस प्रत्यय ने राइटली पॉइंट आउट किया है आरसीबी की प्रॉब्लम्स को लेके, इश्यूज को लेकर, और आप भी पूरे थ्रू आउट हिस्ट्री के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, तो इज दिस द टाइम फॉर आरसीबी टू लुक लुक बियॉन्ड द स्टार स्टार्टेड टीम, जहां पर आप कोशिश करते हैं कि आपने 2-4 स्टार्स को अपनी टीम में ऐड कर लिया एंड दे आर डूइंग फॉर योर टीम, बट एक्चुअली इट्स अ टीम गेम, नॉट अ प्लेयर इंडिविजुअल गेम, सो यू हैव टू लुक आउट एंड लुक बियॉन्ड दिस स्ट्रैटेजी एंड गो फॉर सम प्लेयर्स जो आपके लिए एक्चुअली पूरे सीजन आपके काम आए और मिडिल ऑर्डर को आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग करें?
See, it's very difficult. I mean, when you talk about star cricketers, you have to talk about RCB. They build their team like that. They want more star power in their team for some reason. And again, it is I believe they do have quality players. It's just that they are not clicking at the moment. Again, Dinesh Karthik last season had a great time last season, and he is someone who you would back. Suppose your team needs 30 runs of 12, 13 balls, you would back Dinesh Karthik to get the job done. But it is not happening at the moment, and that is the only thing they should be concerned about. Other like you can talk about players who can chip in at some point of time, but the season is already begun, so I don't think so RCB can do anything at the moment. They have the quality players, they just have to back them and maybe work on certain areas. That's all they can do. But yes, going forward, the question may come ki whether these players rather can deliver time and again for RCB. At that point of time, probably they'll have to think what about the number 5 and number 6 batter, because again Dinesh Karthik is getting really old. Not really old, he's 37, but you'll have to think about the future as well. Dinesh Karthik is not your future for sure. So these are the certain areas that RCB management may have to think next year.
Right, and then what do you call this Rashid Khan, who's very young, but people don't mind him like he is that young. So what do you want to say about this then, if age is the thing?
Age is not a thing. I mean, MS Dhoni is playing at 41, but you'll have to be consistent as well. If you're not being able to deliver, then MS Dhoni is batting at number 8. He is batting at number 8 for like 2, 3, 4 seasons now. So you'll have to slow down. You'll have to do something about it. You just can't bat at number 4. Today, Dinesh Karthik probably bat at number 4, and he's not being able to score runs. So it's not about the age; it's about your performance, what others can provide, and what Karthik himself is not being able to do it.
राइट, और अभी तक फिलहाल वहां मौसम बर्बाद, आई मीन सॉरी, आबाद हुआ नहीं है। अभी भी बारिश लगातार चल रही है दिल्ली में, जो कि हो सकता है कि इस मैच को असर डाले। लेकिन फिलहाल देख लेते हैं एक बार हेड टू हेड कैसा चल रहा है दिल्ली और केकेआर का। तो वहीं दोनों ही टीम्स ने अभी तक 31 मैचेस जीते हैं, जहां दिल्ली कैपिटल्स ने 14 और केकेआर ने 16 मैचेस अपने नाम किए हैं, और एक मैच का कोई रिजल्ट नहीं रहा है। वहीं अगर पिच रिपोर्ट की बात करें तो फिलहाल बारिश से पहले जो पिच रिपोर्ट थी वो कुछ ऐसी दिख रही थी कि द पिच एट अरुण जेटली स्टेडियम असिस्ट बोथ पेस एंड स्पिन इक्वली, बट इन 2023 पेसर्स हैव स्ट्रक मोर फ्रीक्वेंटली दैन स्पिनर्स। प्रत्यय, ऑब्वियसली दिल्ली कैपिटल्स का ये होम ग्राउंड है, हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि आपका होम ग्राउंड है, विच मींस एडवांटेज आपके पास है। बट इस सीजन हमने दिल्ली कैपिटल्स को एक और मैच खेलते हुए देखा था अरुण जेटली स्टेडियम में, बट स्टिल पॉइंट्स टेबल पर उनके आगे अभी भी एक भी पॉइंट ऐड नहीं हो पाया है। सो व्हाट प्रॉब्लम्स डू यू सी फॉर दिल्ली? बिकॉज हम लोग पहले भी बात कर चुके हैं इस बारे में कि दिल्ली इज क्वाइट होपलेस इन दिस सीजन, बट हमने देखा है 2013 में मुंबई इंडियंस को यही कारनामा करते हुए स्टार्टिंग से उन्होंने लगातार 6 मैचेस बैक टू बैक हारे थे, but then afterwards they ended up winning the season particularly. So there is still hope for Delhi Capitals. They can really do it, but how? That is the question.
See, I think there are too many things that they are actually currently missing, and we have been constantly discussing them because none of it has changed. I mean, if you start looking from the top order, runs haven't come for Prithvi Shaw. Mitchell Marsh has been in and out of the team, got back after his wedding, but backed the duck in the previous game. Then with the ball as well, fielding has not been too good. The bowling has been a bit of a concern. David Warner's his own personal form. I think yes, he's getting the runs, but the strike rate has to go up. I mean, because you can't be scoring those runs at 115, 116, because then you are perhaps kind of creating a negative impact on the entire team. But then it's easy to single out players. But as I said, that it's a team game. You cannot be singling out one particular player if a team is losing, because one player cannot perhaps win you a game. But if you have to constantly win, you cannot be relying on a single player. At the moment, I think when you lose consistently, we keep on saying that winning is a habit, but same is the case with losing as well. If you keep on losing games, it kind of starts to dent your confidence. At the moment, because we have seen David Warner bat so free flowingly in the league, one of the 4 batters, I guess, who have 6,000 runs plus in the IPL. So that he has got the credentials. Overall strike rate has been great, and he's one of the very consistent batters. I mean, look at his numbers season-wise. I think that just one single season that he had off with the Sunrisers Hyderabad in 2021. Apart from that, if you see, he has won the orange cap twice or thrice, 800 runs, 900 runs, 700 runs. That's not a difficult task for him. But at the moment, he does not look like himself, for the simple reason that there is nothing that is going around him. If you want him to show more intent with the bat, there has to be someone who steps up. There has to be someone who says that, okay, fine, I am there for you, skipper, you can go and play your natural game. I am holding this end up. Perhaps let's try to build a partnership. At the moment, what happens is that they are losing so many wickets in the power play. They are not being able to, build any partnerships. So they are not being able to put scores of substances. Neither chase is working well for them, nor defense is working for them. So at the moment, there's plenty that they need to work. But if you look at the kind of setup they have, if you look at the skill sets of the players, and not just the players, the backroom staff, you have two of the best, arguably the best captains in the entire cricketing history. Ricky Ponting and Saurav Ganguly sitting in that dugout. There is Praveen Ambre. There are such brilliant names in that setup. So it's not about that they do not know how to make a comeback. It is just that you have to come and execute those plans properly, which I think has been the biggest problem with Delhi. So I think in all the 5 losses, the biggest disappointment, I mean, it's not easy being a DC fan. Whoever is supporting that team, the biggest thing for them would be that they're not giving fight and losing the games. If you recall the games like, say, a GT KKR, I mean, KKR won it with 5 6s, Rinku hitting 5 6s. I mean, but the game GT showed a lot of fight. They were in a winning position and then they lost the game. DC hasn't even done that. What the problem is that they are not just losing, they're losing by big margins. That is denting their net run rate, and they are not showing enough fight. क्योंकि हारना एक चीज होती है, और जब आप कोशिश भी नहीं करते हैं या शायद आप जीतने का कोई जज्बा भी नहीं दिखा पाते हैं और तब हारते हैं, तो वो ज्यादा आपको कहीं ना कहीं आपके कॉन्फिडेंस को हिट करता है. तो इस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे आई थिंक there is only one way for them to go up, and that is upwards. I mean, अगर आप 5 गेम हार चुके हैं और आपके पास में सिर्फ 9 गेम शेष हैं, आपको I guess you have to, I mean, mathematically speaking, yes, they can of course qualify, but conventional wisdom would suggest that perhaps it will take a lot for them to bring themselves back into the game, because you're reeling at the bottom. Most of the teams have, they have made a good amount of, if you look at the table toppers, they are at 8 points. So you're already 8 behind. So making yourself, come into that spot of top 4, it's definitely not going to be easy. And there is no easy answer. I mean, to answer your question, there's no easy answer to it, that what do they need to fix? Because frankly speaking, at the moment, the batting, the bowling, the fielding, every single thing has been a letdown. So there is not one thing that they need to fix. Perhaps everything needs to be fixed there in Delhi.
राइट एंड आई विल गेट बैक टू दिस प्रत्यय, बट राइट नाउ हमारे कमेंट सेक्शन में बहुत सारे फैंस लिटन दास के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं कि व्हाई ही इज नॉट येट पार्ट ऑफ केकेआर's आउटफिट एंड वेयर ही कैन रियली फिट इन. Kaustav, I think you are the right person to answer this, because Litin Das, we all know the kind of player he is, the skill set he holds, and the output he can provide to KKR. They definitely need to use him, but how and where and when?
See, probably this is the right time to use Liton Das. You have Jason Roy in your tanks as well, but I think the two are similar kind of cricketers. I would say Jason Roy will also play an attacking brand of cricket, and so will Liton Das. So either of them can come in today's match, because Ramanullah Gurbaz is not in great form at the moment, and we know that KKR management may change Gurbaz for someone at the top of the order. So that is when Liton Das can come into the picture. I know many of the Bangladesh fans who are watching us live now, they want Liton Das to play. We all want Liton Das to play, because especially when Shakib Al Hasan is not with us in this season. But then again, it will be very difficult, because Jason Roy is in brilliant form at the moment. He hit probably a couple of centuries in the PSL. So probably Jason Roy might come in today's match. But again, either of them I believe, can come in. It depends on the team management whether they'll back Liton Das or they'll back Jason Roy. But today is probably the best chance for Liton Das to make KKR debut, or IPL debut rather.
Right. So with that, we have also got Player of the Match award as well, which has been provided or awarded to Mohammad Siraj for the performance he has given. So definitely Siraj ne 4 wickets लिए हैं, and it was quite promising bowling he has showed today. 21 runs उन्होंने दिए हैं अपने 4 ओवरों में, और आज का मुकाबला जिसे कहते हैं अगर जीत की ओर लेके गए हैं तो वो एक तो फैफ डु प्लेसी विराट कोहली थे, और तीसरे बल्कि पहले नंबर पे मोहम्मद सिराज को रखूंगी because the way he has bowled. But Pratyay, I would like to ask this question to you, since Mohammad Siraj, we all know he has been playing really well for RCB. But if we talk about other bowlers in RCB, like right now, अगर उनके हम death bowling problems concerns, we all are aware of it. Like other than Siraj, ज़्यादा bowlers उनके death bowling में especially अगर मैं बात करूँ, so they don't perform exactly the they wanted to. जो plans होते हैं वो execute नहीं हो पाते हैं, but somehow like Siraj on point होते हैं, but बाकी के bowlers कहीं ना कहीं disappoint कर रहे होते हैं. आज भी हमें काफी हद तक वो चीज देखने को मिली है, बट थोड़ी कंट्रोल थी. एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स लाइक जब कोई टीम मैच जीत जाती है तो इन कंसर्न्स के बारे में कोई इतना बात करता नहीं है. बट डेफिनेटली दिस इज समथिंग कंसर्निंग फॉर आरसीबी. मोहम्मद सिराज ने तो अपना काम किया, बट बाकी बॉलर्स उतने अच्छे से परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाए जो एक्सपेक्टेड था शायद.
See, I think bowling prowess की कोई कमी नहीं है उस टीम में, क्योंकि अगर आप देखें now specifically with the addition of Wanindu Hasaranga, because he is one of the best. I mean, going around in the world at the moment, if you really start picking names, perhaps he could well be amongst the top 5 in franchise-based league cricket, because he is someone who knows how to contain runs, and he is someone who also knows how to take wickets. And as a bowler, these are the only two things that you want in specifically in this format. Apart from him, I think Harshal Patel's form has been a bit of a concern, because the manner in which he lit up the IPL in the past year, that is something that we haven't really seen him doing in this particular year, because he has been slightly indisciplined. And the biggest reason why you have a Harshal Patel in your side is, of course, his death bowling, because he is someone who knows how to mix and match plenty of variations. He has a slower ball, he has a yorker, he can bounce a little bit as well, and the kind of angles that he creates. So he has plenty of things in his repertoire that he can actually use. But at the moment, his dicey form has actually led to the downfall of RCB's death bowling in particular. But Siraj, you have to give him a lot of credit, because the job that he does, specifically with the new ball in the power play, I think he is right up there. I mean, if you really start picking up, if you have to name one of the best bowlers at the moment, perhaps he would be right up there with Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Trent Bolt, and the likes, because the manner in which he bowls, the power, the intensity, the intent with which he comes up on the field, that kind of starts to rub on others as well, because it's not just about bowling in lines and lengths. The kind of mindset he has, he's always he's 24 into 7 into 365. He's on an attack mode, so he will never let the batter settle. And he's one of those bowlers who will never perhaps go on the back foot. So even if he's taking a beating, even if he's going for runs, he will still continue to back his game. He will still continue to perhaps stick to his plans and take those wickets. But at the moment, I feel that there's plenty of load on him as well, for the simple reason that you're expecting him to deliver at the death, you are expecting him to bowl in the power play, and these are the two most difficult phases to bowl, because over 7 to 15, yes, a lot of people feel that T20 games where the game is going to flow is decided in over 7 to 15. But actually, if you start dividing the game into 3 phases, 1 to 6 the power play, 7 to 15 middle overs, and 16 to 20 the death, every single phase has its own importance. And as a bowler, because when you field restrictions are there, of course it is hard for you to execute your plans, because there are lesser fielders outside and you have to contain the runs and also take wickets. Similarly, at the death, you know that perhaps if you are chasing, or whether you are your opposition is setting a target, you know that this is the phase when the opponents are going to go hard against you. So perhaps the toughest phase to bowl, arguably in T20 cricket, has to be power play and the death overs. And Siraj is the bowler who is doing both jobs for you. So I think there's plenty of load on him. If others around him could just start to take a little bit more responsibility. Wayne Parnell had a decent game today. Hasaranga has, he also picked up wickets. He's a gun player and gun spinner for you. If others start to take a bit of more responsibility and Harshal Patel kind of strikes back his form, I think Siraj would also breathe easy and RCB would be little relaxed as far as their bowling is concerned.
Right. And right now, whoever is asking about the rain, let me tell you all that it's still raining in Delhi, and definitely we have to wait a little more for the toss and even the match to start. But as Pratyay, you were pointing out on Delhi Capitals, the whole their support staff and everything, the names they have got in their basically in their bag. Kaustubh, I would like to ask you, since जब Pratyay ने बताया था कि उनके support staff में we have got good names like Ricky Ponting, like Saurav Ganguly and Praveen Amre, and even itself the captain David Warner. Do you see this as the clash of powers, or maybe the point of views for DC? Because a lot of good people might end up taking a bad decision, because this is something that everyone wants to put in and give their own basically opinions about it. So maybe it's a confused opinion, maybe the point of views are different, that's why they're unable to do it, or maybe the clash of powers.
I think that is a really good question because last disease match or the match before that, I saw Ricky Ponting was trying to say something to David Warner in the death overs. That Ricky Ponting and Saurav Ganguly was having a chat, and they wanted to say something to David Warner, but David Warner did not see or ignored what I exactly don't know. Probably did not see because again you'll have to change the field and all that. So probably David Warner missed that, and eventually, of course, DC lost. So there can be a clash of communication, like the coach wants this, the mentor wants this, the captain wants this, the players are doing something else. So there can be a miscommunication in the team, but that I don't think so that is the reason why DC are not winning any games at the moment. DC are not winning just because they're not batting well at the moment. It is not that whatever happened, the field changes or bowling changes or whatever. I personally don't think that to be the case. बैटिंग अगर थोड़ा अच्छा करेगा, अगर डेविड वार्नर थोड़ा ज्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेगा, क्योंकि डेविड वार्नर का स्ट्राइक रेट एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है. हम लोग आई थिंक एवरीडे ऑफिस में बात करते हैं कि डेविड वार्नर का स्ट्राइक रेट दिस, डेविड वार्नर का स्ट्राइक रेट दैट. इवन सम ऑफ द एक्सपर्ट्स these days are talking about David Warner strike rate and Virat Kohli strike rate and someone else probably. So I think the batting is the issue at the moment, especially with Prithvi Shaw not in form. Mitchell Marsh is yet to show his class. That is probably the case, and again, I don't think so. The clash of powers or ego is to be the problem in Delhi.
Okay, enough of discussion on Delhi and Kolkata. Let's take a look at the player who was out of these two teams, because we know what Delhi holds with them. Like David Warner is with them. He has played 167 matches and he has scored 6,109 runs. He has done exceedingly well for Delhi, even for SRH for that matter. But David Warner is the player to watch out. If we talk about Kolkata Knight Riders player to watch out, then let's take a look at whom we have got. It's Nitish Rana, the captain. Both the captains are player to watch out in this particular match. Nitish Rana has played 96 matches. He has scored 2,331 run and has 16 50s and 0 hundreds in IPL so far. Let's take a look at social tracker as well. What tweets are coming up on this particular match? What people basically are discussing on social media? That's what we want from Captain Kohli. You say aggression, I hear Virat Kohli. And we definitely know he's the synonym of aggression. Whenever Virat Kohli screams or maybe plays a game, that is something we really love. It is raining in Delhi, we know, and it is really heartening for us because we want to see a good clash at Arun Jaitley Stadium. For some, it is the home ground and it is something which North people really wanted a match to really happen. Fingers crossed for our first win today, live of a DC fan. और हम देख सकते हैं कि कितने ज्यादा परेशान है DC फैंस, और डेफिनेटली ये बहुत ही अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन भी कर रहा है कि दिल्ली कैपिटल्स को कितनी जरूरत है एक जीत की और उनके फैंस के लिए कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है. फैफ डू प्लेसी आल्सो डिपार्ट्स आफ्टर विराट कोहली एंड मैक्सवेल डिपार्ट्स. नाउ वी हैव विटनेस आरसीबी's टेल एंडर्स. और डेफिनेटली ये एक जो ट्वीट है ये दर्शाता है कि किस तरीके से आरसीबी के टेल एंडर्स या बेसिकली मिडिल ऑर्डर अगर हम बोले तो जिस तरह की परफॉर्मेंस उनकी रही है वो बिल्कुल भी अच्छी नहीं थी और दे नीड टू वर्क अपॉन इट. बट डेफिनेटली इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इवन आरसीबी टू थिंक अबाउट इट. नेक्स्ट, फैफ डुप्लेसी स्कोर्स इन मोहाली, और हमने देखा है कि आज का मैच भी उनका 84 रन उन्होंने ऐड किया, बट इसके पहले भी 2019, 2016, 2015 उन्होंने हर सीजन अपने आप को प्रूव किया है, स्पेशली इन मोहाली, और इस सीजन में भी उन्होंने इस मुकाबले में भी अपने आप को बखूबी प्रूव किया है. बट आई विल कम बैक टू दिस थिंग, दिल्ली कैपिटल्स और इसके अलावा उनके जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं या जो भी उनके सोल्यूशंस हैं उनके बारे में. प्रत्यय, आज का मैच दिल्ली कैपिटल्स के लिए, बल्कि मैं तो कहूंगी पिछले 2-4 मैचेस उनके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट थे जीतना, बट आज का मैच अगर दिल्ली कैपिटल्स जीतती है तो ये कितना बड़ा बूस्ट होगा उनके लिए? प्रत्यय, आर यू गेटिंग माय वॉइस या बारिश हो रही है इसलिए नहीं आ रही आवाज?
No, I lost you in the middle. Can you please come again?
Sure. I'm saying कि दिल्ली कैपिटल्स हमें पता है कि कितनी होपलेस चल रही है राइट नाउ, दे आर नॉट विनिंग एनी मैचेस, बट अगर आज का मैच वो जीतते हैं तो कितना बड़ा बूस्ट होगा उनके लिए?
See, I think सबसे पहली चीज जो है वो ये है कि आप मनोवैज्ञानिक तौर पे सिर्फ अपने आप को सिक्योर करने के लिए, just to get that psychological advantage, just take a win, just open your account for once, because maybe you never know if you stick to your plans and if you strike once in tandem, हो सकता है चीजें सुधरने लगे, because once if you have to start a losing streak, it starts with the first loss. A win streak is also going to start with your first win. So at the moment, as I said, there is nothing for them to lose because you have 9 games. You are technically still very much in the hunt. Yes, it's going to be a Herculean task because you're talking about 9 games. We have lost 5. और आपके पास में हर IPL में या किसी भी टूर्नामेंट में अगर आप जाते हैं तो आपके पास में एक स्पेसिफिक बजट होता है ऑफ लॉसेस. and you do not want to entirely use that budget right at the start or or in one flow, because you never know कि कब आपके प्लेयर्स का फॉर्म शायद चला जाए, कब एक मैच में कोई ऐसी चीज हो जाए जहां पे ओपोनेंट आकर के एकदम से आपको आपके हाथ से मैच छीन के ले जाए. द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम नाउ दैट दिल्ली हैज इज कि शायद जो उनका बजट था कि आप हर आईपीएल में अगर आप आते हैं तो आप 4 से 5 मैचेस आराम से हार सकते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उसके बाद में भी आपके पास में इतने पॉइंट्स होते हैं कि आप क्वालिफाई कर सकते हैं प्लेऑफ्स के लिए. वो 4-5 मैचेस का बजट अब उन्होंने पूरा का पूरा यूटिलाइज कर लिया है राइट एट द स्टार्ट. और अभी टूर्नामेंट सिर्फ 3 हफ्ते पुराना हुआ है, आपको 5 से 6 हफ्ते और आगे जाने हैं. नाउ द मार्जिन ऑफ एरर इज ऑलमोस्ट नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट फॉर यू, बिकॉज अनदर लॉस हियर एंड परहैप्स यू आर स्टेयरिंग डाउन द बैरल and you are completely out. So I think it is a moment of panic for them, because see, 1, 2, 3 losses is all right, but once you start to lose 4, 5, 6, then perhaps the season starts to look over for you already. And the hardest part is to when you are losing that much as a unit, the hardest part is to turn up for the next game and perhaps take a beating again, because it's not a situation जहाँ पे आप ये बोल सकते हैं कि ठीक है हम 7 मैच हार गए, अब हम ये टूर्नामेंट आगे नहीं खेलेंगे. You have to play the 14 games. You still have to turn up. You still have to play the 14 games. No matter the result, you have to turn up. So I think they have to show more positivity, perhaps, in the mindset. Players need to take more responsibility. You cannot be singling out just Warner, because I started to feel a little bit for him, because he's the only one who's scoring runs, and yet he's taking all the backbeating because of his strike rate. At the moment, in fact, if you sit down to list the positives that DC have, perhaps the biggest of positives would be Akshar Patel and David Warner's form. Yes, strike rate is a concern, but how do you blame a batter when no one around him is doing anything else? So I think that he also needs to take more responsibility. And as I said, the backroom staff of Delhi, the players that they have, there is no shortage for them to not lift the cup. There is everything. There are teams that you actually look and feel that this does not look like a team which perhaps would be able to lift the cup. When you look at Delhi Capitals, when you look at the names that this team has, you genuinely feel that this team has everything perhaps that takes a team to win a tournament like IPL. You have great batters in the top order. You have some brilliant all-rounders, some great bowlers. Backroom staff is filled with legends of the game. A very inspirational captain who has already won the IPL once with the Sunrisers Hyderabad in 2016. So there is perhaps everything that they have done is all right. They had a good auction as well, but once it comes to execution part, they are failing miserably. So I think if they could win this game, perhaps just take a bit of sigh of relief that okay, fine, the first win has come for us. Now moving ahead, and the good part is also that they are coming after a 5-day break. The next game is on 24th, I guess. That is another 4-day break. So, and the next is on 29th. So there are 4-5 days of gap that they are getting, which will allow them to just get back into the groove, make their plans, try to sit and understand. Because when games start to come thick and fast, you're suddenly traveling. You play one game, the next 2 days later you're perhaps playing in Bangalore, then you're playing in Mohali. So you do not really get that much time to gather yourself back, sit and plan and see what things are going wrong. Now you are getting ample gaps in between the games, 4 days, one game, then 5 days, one game, then 4 days, another game. So you can sit with the staff, you can talk, and you can just try to, work on those problems and try to take it one game at a time. So I think if they can win this game, that will be a massive boost. They are playing in front of their home crowd as well. 2 games lost there already. So I think it would be a good, a good kind of an incentive for the fans also, waiting in the rain to, just give them a victory and make them feel a little better.
बट अभी तक रेन ने वो मौका दिया नहीं है, बिकॉज कंटिन्यूअसली ड्रिजलिंग हो रही है वहां पे. थोड़ी लाइट जरूर पड़ी है बारिश, लेकिन स्टिल इतनी लाइट नहीं है कि वहां पर गेम को स्टार्ट किया जा सके. बट फिलहाल हमें ये लाइव को यहीं खत्म करना होगा. इसकी और भी अपडेट्स के लिए आपके पास एक बहुत ही अच्छा ऑप्शन है. सभी व्यूअर्स को मैं बताना चाहूंगी, आप क्रिकट्रैकर की वेबसाइट पे डीसी वर्सेस केकेआर का लाइव ब्लॉगिंग हमारी कंटिन्यूअसली जारी है, जहां पर आपको अपडेट्स मिलेंगी इस मैच के बारे में, और इसके अलावा कब शुरू हो रहा है, कौन टॉस जीत रहा है, हर एक अपडेट जो आप चाहते हैं आपको वहां पर मिल सकता है. सो जस्ट गो एंड गिव इट अ रीड. एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स, थैंक यू सो मच प्रत्यय एंड कौस्तुभ फॉर जॉइनिंग मी हियर. वी आर गोना एंड दिस लाइव डिस्कशन, बट डेफिनेटली वी आर गोना कंटिन्यू आफ्टर द मैच, एंड तब हम लोग आपस में बातचीत करेंगे कि आफ्टर ऑल ये मैच कैसा गया और क्या थे इसकी कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. तब तक के लिए आप देखते रहिए क्रिक ट्रैकर और इन दी एयर शो.